Hey, let me check in to talk about the introduction, which is about the first hour of We Became the City by N.K. Jemisin, her 2020 urban fantasy novel, first in what apparently is going to be her Great City series. And this is a urban fantasy novel that is literally a urban fantasy in the sense of it's talking about a world where cities become sentient beings. And this introduction opens with New York, a queer, um, gay, black, homeless kid who is the avatar for the um, becoming of New York City as a sentient being. Who's friends with a guy named Paulo, and apparently it's San Paulo, an avatar for San Paulo, and indeed other cities around the world, Lisbon, London, various other cities are all watching to see what's going to happen with this new upstart, this new kid on the block of the world, and it's kind of very kind of um, it's kind of heady and hallucinogenic, and there seems to be outside forces that are going after it, and a mega cop that's coming after it because this is a young black kid, and of course it's getting harassed by the cops, but the cops that are getting harassed by seems to be not just regular cops, but outside bad, influence people, and a mega cop, which is like multi-limbed thing that comes after him, runs after him, and he runs onto like the FDR, which is like it's like a blood vessel with the cars and the trucks like all like white blood cells, and they smash through it and they bust it apart. And at a part, he's sitting there gasping and an old homeless guy kind of turns over and looks at him and says, "It's time." It's like this is another kind of manifestation of the city, and Paulo begins the things talking about how haven't you seen what's going on below, that there's like teeth and 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 hands and fingers. It's like you're developing, and it's only as you go along you realize, oh, this is he is the city, and it goes from an I to a we, and sleeps. He hangs out at Paulo's place for little crashes there, and they sleep and they fuck together, and for stuff. And Paulo never eats; he only smokes, and he's apparently a smoker. And it's kind of the smog of Sao Paulo we're talking about. It's like crazy, um, and there's a kind of a climactic battle, and he's cutting apart and beating off the forces, and they're on they crash it. He says it's like he's crashing it down with the various parts of the city and just crushing and bashing, and he wins and he's triumphant, and then something happens and the avatar disappears, and Paulo's like was at one point cradling him, and then suddenly he's gone. And then we shift to Paulo's point of view, and he gets a call, and I think it's London, I'm not quite sure, and it's like, what's happened. It's like, well, something's happened, and postpartum complications, and the city's withdrawn it back, taken him back in, and it's like, well, you got to find him. It's like, well, where should you start? And it's like, well, start in Manhattan. It's like, well, that doesn't narrow it down much. Well, yeah, and you better get started. And that's the kind of the first section of this book, and it's like, I'm really enjoying this. I think I tried one of N.K. Jenison's the start maybe of the Shattered Earth series or whatever like that, and it was kind of South African and South American, not South African, South American, and I was having trouble kind of getting it. Maybe I might go back to it, but this is like a little kind of short story in it of itself, and it's like I really enjoyed that. It's a little bit overproduced. They insist on putting music in underneath, which it's like, hello, I am trying to focus on the words. Do not have music running beneath that, because that fucks me up, and then it's harder for me to listen to the words. It's like I hate it when books have so much money behind them that they decide to slather in music and sound effects and bullshit like that into it. But I think for the most part, they try to let the words actually speak for themselves. And I think M.K. Jemisin seems to be actually, ooh, she's a writer. She's a writer. So yeah, that's we became the city. The we being the avatar, a we, I guess, in there. Okay, there. I was a little bit more excited about that than trying to pull together a review of White Hot by Ilona Andrews. Two very different books. I might try. Okay, well, I'll talk about that at some other point. That's a different video.